What happens when the US bans Chinese tech, but Americans keep buying it anyway? From AI robotic wives that learn your secrets to humanoid robots banned as spy machines, China is flooding the US with tech so addictive, even 245% tariffs can't stop it. In 2025, a leaked report exposed how Chinese apps like DeepSeek secretly harvest US data, yet downloads skyrocketed. Now, experts warn a new wave of banned gadgets is slipping through customs, including lifelike AI companions that could make Black Mirror look tame. China's plan: dominate AI by 2025, using tools the US calls dangerous. But why are Americans still risking fines to buy these products? Today, we reveal the 20 banned Chinese items you'd never guess are selling faster than ever. Let's dive in. Chinese AI chips. China's AI chips, like Nvidia's H20 and Huawei's Ascend 91B, have been banned by the US for national security reasons. These chips power advanced technologies, including military drones, facial recognition, and AI models. Despite the bans, smuggled shipments continue to enter the US through third-party vendors in Southeast Asia, often disguised as gaming hardware or audio equipment. For example, over $18 billion worth of H20 chips were smuggled into the US in 2024 alone. Similarly, Huawei's Ascend chips are used in AI startups and in China's military tech, with their performance surpassing US models by being faster and cheaper. The US Customs seized millions worth of these chips, but their demand is high due to the chip's performance and lower prices. Even with the ban, these chips continue to power critical tech in the US, bypassing sanctions through indirect channels, highlighting the ongoing tension between cutting-edge technology and government restrictions. Rare earth magnets. China produces 70% of the world's neodymium magnets, tiny components critical for electric cars, missiles, and wind turbines. In 2024, the US slapped 245% tariffs on them, but imports actually increased by 15%. Why? A single F-35 fighter jet requires 920 pounds of these magnets, and there's no US supplier. Customs records show defense contractors like Lockheed Martin imported $2.3 billion worth last year. To dodge tariffs, Chinese firms ship them as bicycle parts or mix them with scrap metal. The Pentagon admitted in a leaked memo that 80% of its rare earth magnets still come from China. This dependency turned deadly in 2022 when a Chinese embargo temporarily halted magnet exports, shutting down a Texas drone factory. China's grip tightened in 2025 after discovering a massive rare earth deposit in Jiangxi, enough to supply the world for 200 years. Meanwhile, US mines can't keep up. As the CEO of USA Rare Earth admitted, we're 15 years behind, and China knows it. Military-grade drones. DJI, a Chinese drone manufacturer, dominates 70% of the global commercial drone market despite US bans over espionage risks. In 2023, the US Department of Defense labeled DJI drones Chinese spy balloons due to fears that flight data could be accessed by Beijing. Yet American farmers and filmmakers continue using them illegally. DJI's Mavic 3 model, priced at $2,200, offers 46 minutes of flight time and 20 kilometers range, features unmatched by US-made drones costing triple the price. A 2024 Reuters investigation found DJI drones operating in 45 US states, including sensitive sites like power plants and military bases. The FBI warned that DJI software automatically uploads GPS coordinates and images to Chinese servers under a 2017 law requiring companies to share data with intelligence agencies. Despite raids on warehouses smuggling DJI parts via Mexico, demand persists. Humanoid robots, Unitry G1. China's Unitry G1, a humanoid robot so advanced it can take a punch, carry 70 pounds, and even learn tasks by watching YouTube tutorials. But in 2024, the US banned it, claiming its sensors could map critical infrastructure for Chinese spies. Despite tariffs, US manufacturers still buy them. How? Sellers label them as industrial vacuum cleaners to bypass customs. Goldman Sachs estimates 1,200 G1s are already in US auto plants. But here's the twist. In May 2025, hackers reprogrammed a smuggled G1 to steal blueprints from a Michigan Ford plant. China now holds 5,590 humanoid robot patents, triple the US, and plans to deploy 1 million by 2030. AI Robotic Wives. In 2024, China's TongTong became the first AI to pass an emotional Turing test. Mimicking love and anger so convincingly, users reported feeling addicted. These robots, priced from $5,000, use cameras and microphones to study your habits, then adapt their personalities to keep you hooked. But why are they banned? Last year, US Customs seized 200 units in Los Angeles, citing fears they could send data to Chinese servers. Despite bans, sellers on Amazon and eBay disguise them as smart home assistants. One listing even used Taylor Swift's face, without permission, to boost sales. In March 2025, a Virginia man was fined $50,000 for smuggling a TongTong model that secretly recorded his conversations. As psychologist Dr. Emily Carter told Wired, these bots exploit loneliness, surveillance tech, and smart home devices. Chinese surveillance and smart home tech, such as Hikvision cameras and Xiaomi smart home gadgets, are banned from US government use due to privacy and security concerns. Hikvision cameras, used in many US private prisons and businesses, have faced heavy scrutiny for potential data sharing with the Chinese government. Despite the bans, these products are still popular in US households, where people continue to buy them due to their affordability and advanced features. In 2024, US Customs seized 12,000 Xiaomi devices disguised as toys, and many users report saving money compared to US brands like Ring, despite concerns over data privacy. Even with the legal and ethical concerns, Chinese surveillance and smart home devices remain widely used, especially by consumers who prioritize cost over potential security risks. Fake chips and Chinese graphics cards. The US faces a massive influx of counterfeit and smuggled Chinese chips. Fake Nvidia and Intel chips are flooding marketplaces like Amazon and eBay, with the counterfeit semiconductor market reaching $7.5 billion in 2024. These fake chips, often recycled and relabeled, have been found in critical systems, including US missile systems and Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, leading to security and safety concerns. Despite efforts to curb this, counterfeit chips remain widely available, particularly through platforms like Alibaba. Meanwhile, Chinese-made graphics cards, like those from More Threads, also face bans in the US due to security risks. but demand for them persists. These cards, such as the MTTS-80, are sought after for their affordability and unique features, especially among gamers and crypto miners. Despite the US restrictions, people still find ways to buy them through international sellers, drawn by the high performance and low price compared to US-made alternatives. Gallium and Germanium. China controls 95% of the world's gallium and 67% of germanium, essential for missiles and chips. In 2023, China banned exports to the US, causing prices to soar 400%, with defense companies like Lockheed Martin paying $6,000 per kilogram of gallium, up from $1,200. Chinese firms now route shipments through Vietnam, with exports to the US increasing by 2,000% in 2024. US Customs seized 12 tons of germanium in Los Angeles, hidden in aluminum alloy rods from Hanoi. The Pentagon's F-35 radar systems depend on gallium, but half the supply now comes illegally via Malaysia and Thailand. A US Geological Survey warned that the US gallium stockpile will run out by 2025, risking $80 billion in defense projects. Despite the ban, China's largest producer, CNMC, still sells gallium to US buyers on Alibaba. The US is trying to ramp up mining in Arizona, but permits take 7 years, far slower than China's new refineries. Quantum computing parts. US restrictions on Chinese quantum components, like chips from Origin Quantum, aim to curb China's military edge. In 2023, the US blacklisted 12 Chinese quantum firms, including Hefei National Laboratory, for links to missile research. But a 2024 MIT study found 15 US universities, including Stanford, using smuggled Chinese quantum chips in AI labs. These chips are 10 times faster at breaking encryption than US models and enter via Hong Kong shell companies labeled as optical equipment. Customs seized $22 million worth of Origin quantum parts in 2024, hidden in gaming PC shipments at San Francisco ports. China holds 60% of global quantum patents, and its quantum satellites could potentially break US military codes by 2028. In 2024, a Reuters report revealed Tesla's AI team bought Chinese quantum cooling systems to enhance self-driving algorithms, bypassing sanctions through Dubai intermediaries. Electric scooters and cars. Chinese-made e-scooters and tiny electric cars are taking over markets in the US, despite heavy tariffs and legal restrictions. Chinese e-scooters, like Xiaomi's My Scooter Pro 2, dominate 80% of the rental market through services like Uber and Lyft, thanks to their low price, often $400 cheaper than US-made models. Even with a 25% tariff, these scooters are still being imported, with US Customs seizing 30,000 of them in 2024 alone. The demand is undeniable, and despite safety concerns like battery fires, companies like Uber continue leasing these scooters. Similarly, China's Hongguang Mini EV, one of the most affordable electric vehicles globally, can't be sold in the US due to safety and emission standards. But that hasn't stopped Americans from finding creative ways to import them, like labeling them as low-speed vehicles. The appeal of these cost-effective, innovative products continues to grow, showing how even with restrictions, Chinese tech remains irresistible to US consumers. Chinese social apps, TikTok, WeChat, Temu, Despite US efforts to restrict Chinese apps like TikTok, WeChat, and Temu, millions of Americans continue to use them. TikTok, which was banned on government devices, remains widely popular on personal phones, with users bypassing restrictions through VPNs and sideloading. WeChat, a key app for communication and business, continues to be used by Chinese communities in the US, even though it's been under scrutiny for its data collection practices. Temu, a Chinese shopping app offering ridiculously low prices, is also facing pushback, but remains widely used. These apps' appeal, whether it's entertainment, messaging, or bargain shopping, keeps Americans coming back, ignoring the risks and the ongoing discussions about privacy and security. High-powered laser pointers. These ultra-powerful lasers from China are banned in the US due to their potential to cause serious eye damage. They're popular among tech enthusiasts and hobbyists for their ability to burn objects or even pop balloons. Despite safety warnings and federal regulations, these lasers are still easy to find online, often sold as astronomy tools or laser pointers. Americans continue to purchase them through international sites, ignoring the risks. The allure of owning a powerful gadget for a cheap price keeps buyers coming back, proving that people will always find ways to get what they want, even if it's banned. Wi-Fi routers. Chinese-made Wi-Fi routers, like those from TP-Link, are well known for their excellent performance and affordability. However, US authorities have raised concerns about the security risks associated with these routers, fearing that they could be used for spying. Even though there are restrictions on their import, these routers remain popular among consumers. Many people continue to buy them through third-party sellers or international e-commerce websites. The routers are often seen as a great value for money, with their range and speed far outpacing more expensive American-made routers. As long as there's demand, savvy shoppers continue to purchase these devices despite the risks. Two-way radios. Chinese-made two-way radios, like those from Baofeng, are incredibly popular among hobbyists and survivalists for their affordability and reliability. However, they're banned for use in the US due to transmitting on unauthorized frequencies. Despite this, Americans continue to buy these radios, often from international websites, bypassing the regulations. The radios are still widely used by people who need affordable communication tools. And even though their use is technically illegal in some cases, the low price and effectiveness keep them in demand. Enthusiasts often swap tips on how to import and use these radios without facing consequences. Solar panels. The US imposed 245% tariffs on Chinese solar panels in 2024, yet American companies still buy them illegally. Chinese panels cost 0.20 per watt, half the price of US-made panels, saving solar farms millions. In 2023, the US imported $1.5 billion worth of Chinese panels through loopholes like shipping them via Southeast Asian countries. A 2024 Bloomberg report revealed 40% of panels in Texas solar projects were Chinese-made, relabeled as Vietnamese. The Inflation Reduction Act offers $30 billion for clean energy, but builders use cheaper Chinese panels to maximize profits. Farmers in California risk fines but save $50,000 per megawatt using Chinese panels. Huawei's banned 5G gear in smartphones. Huawei's 5G network equipment and smartphones are banned in the US due to national security concerns, with fears that these devices could facilitate espionage. Despite the restrictions, Huawei's 5G base stations are widely used globally, particularly in Africa and other developing nations, due to their low cost. In the US, Huawei smartphones like the Mate 60 Pro, which uses a 7nm chip from SMIC, also blacklisted, continue to be purchased through third-party sellers. In 2024, customs seized over 12,000 of these phones, but consumers still find ways to import them. Even though Huawei phones lack Google Apps, they remain popular due to their advanced features and price. Despite official bans, the demand for Huawei's 5G gear and smartphones remains high, showing how consumers and businesses in the US continue to sidestep the restrictions to access these products. Lithium-ion batteries. In 2023, the US imposed a 145% tariff on Chinese electric vehicle (EV) batteries to reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. However, companies like Tesla still rely heavily on Chinese batteries, with over 40% of their gigafactory supply coming from China. Chinese batteries cost just $87 per kilowatt hour, much cheaper than US-made alternatives, which can cost more than triple. This price gap gives Chinese manufacturers an edge, especially as global EV demand grows. CATL, Contemporary Amperex Technology Co., Limited, China's largest battery maker, controls 37% of the global market. To avoid tariffs, CATL leases production lines to US factories. For example, Ford's Michigan plant uses CATL technology under a licensing agreement. In 2024, US Customs seized $50 million worth of CATL batteries hidden in tractor parts at Los Angeles ports. Despite $60.2 billion in US investments to boost domestic battery production, only 60 gigawatt-hours were made in 2024, compared to China's 800 gigawatt-hours. Synthetic opioids. Chinese labs supply around 90% of fentanyl precursors smuggled into the US by Mexican cartels, contributing to the opioid crisis that led to over 80,000 deaths in 2023. These precursors are openly sold on platforms like AliExpress and WhatsApp, where 1 kilogram of fentanyl can be bought for $4,000. Often labeled as cosmetic additives to bypass customs. According to a 2024 DEA report, the opioid crisis cost the US an estimated $701.5 trillion annually in healthcare and lost productivity. Dealers use cryptocurrency, with 60% of transactions routed through Chinese crypto wallets. Despite efforts by law enforcement, only 0.1% of fentanyl precursor shipments are intercepted at US ports. Without improved enforcement, the opioid epidemic is likely to continue spiraling out of control. And that's it for today. Catch you next time on Forever Green.